Viewers, welcome back to the next episode of the August positive collection of positive news for you with respect to an India bearing. So the next big news, August obviously is the month where we celebrate our Independence Day, and India is got a very advanced eye in the sky ahead of Independence Day. GSAT-1 was launched on August 12. Basically, this will allow a better monitoring of the subcontinent, including the borders with Pakistan and China, by imaging the country 4 to 5 times a day. So this is going to be placed at 36,000 kilometers above in a geostationary orbit. Now, geostationary orbit will ensure that the satellites travel in sync with the way the city or the country travels. So it will have a higher perimeter, obviously, and then it will travel at a speed so that it will always look that India is stationary when you view from there. And we all know that for the first time we have threat from both sides of the border. All along we always had threat from the western side, but now China also becoming a very big challenge for us. We need this continuous monitoring, and therefore, because it's going to keep scanning the entire country for 4 to 5 times a day, any movement of troop position or any change in the bunker position, temporary bunker position, will be available to the military intelligence. The next very happy thing that we can all be very proud and happy that India is progressing is there has been a tunnel that has got operationalized between Coimbatore and Thrissur. Now this will reduce the traveling time between Coimbatore to Thrissur from 2 hours to 10 minutes. So the time taken to reach that is almost cut by 1 hour 15 minutes. Before this tunnel came, to circumnavigate that place, it used to take 2 hours. Now it is just 10 minutes. So just imagine the amount of fuel that will be saved. Just imagine the amount of time that will be saved. Also imagine how many medical emergencies can reach the hospitals within the golden hour. The next very interesting news, or very good news for the country, is that our Indian forex is at its lifetime high of $621 billion. Now we don't know whether it's a blessing or a pain, but countries like Singapore have really put the dollar reserves to good use by buying stakes in companies, private companies elsewhere in the world, and therefore ensuring that the value of their investment stays high, and they are also able to have a strategic presence in up and coming industry. India has still not gone into that level, but the fact that we have $621 billion of reserve is a long way from the time when we had to go and pledge our gold reserves just to meet our import needs. So this actually means that as a country we are doing well. The next very important data that has come to our attention is the data consumption in rural India has increased by 400% in the last 1 year. Now we all know COVID has affected our country, and that the big worry that most people had was how would the people in the rural areas be able to cope up with this. But we seem to have done very well. So government has solicited to provide Wi-Fi spots and fiber to home connectivity in rural India, and has garnered more than 1.3 million Wi-Fi registered users. Data consumption through optical fibers maintained by common services carrier is nearly 1 lakh panchayats and has surpassed 13,000 terabytes till June. And the data clearly indicates that the appetite for internet data in rural areas is at significant highs, which means two things. The digital divide between rural India and the urban India is shrinking. The possibility of commerce through internet even to rural India is increasing. The possibility of reaching the best-in-class education to rural India is increasing. And therefore, the economic divide between the urban and rural India is going to shorten, which means that the migration from rural India to urban India will also reduce, and therefore the spending on urban infrastructure will reduce, and strengthening of rural infrastructure will improve, and the balance and the emotional connect with our roots will continue to remain. And this will mean that the families will remain happy, and people will no more be disadvantaged because they are staying far away from the city, because the goods can get delivered at their doorsteps, the education can happen at their rooms, and the entire approach to citizen services is changing now, because more than 1 lakh of panchayats are connected through the BharatNet services. So the government's common service center today runs around 4 lakh units in the remotest parts, and in the first phase of BharatNet nearly 1 lakh to 15,000 panchayats were covered, Right now there are 4 lakh common service centers, and then it has now more than 4 lakh 50,000 subscribers, including 25,000 users comprising of government institutions such as remote police stations, Gram Panchayat office, Anganwadi centers, PDS centers, and primary health centers. So what we are seeing today in rural India is something that has never happened in the last 70 years or 74 years of independence. In the last 1 year, something has changed substantially in the way we are running the country, because we are able to put technology to good use. The dividends of these initiatives will be reaped in 10 to 15 years, when the children who are going through these education patterns and the support systems that they receive from their primary health centers and others are going to start harvesting the benefits of this. The next very interesting development that has happened is Odisha has come up with Puri. Puri is a city in where the famous Jagannath temple is there. Puri is become the first city in India where drinking water can be had from tap. Now, whenever we used to travel abroad, most of the countries they used to have the spring water, but nothing called as the mineral water. Anywhere you go, you'll be able to open the tap and have the drink your water. Now that was a pipe dream in India, but the pipe dream has really been made available through new pipes, and so this will start benefiting nearly the 2.5 lakh residents in the Puri. So water can be used for cooking, drinking, without having to filter it or heat it anywhere. So Puri joins a list of select cities like London, New York, and Singapore, where 24 hours supply of water is available from tap. So the interesting silver lining with this initiative is this water is going to be available 24/7 in Puri. So that's a very so this is the first city that's happening, and I'm sure with years to come, more and more cities will join the bandwagon. The next development is that India is becoming environmentally conscious. So a lot of smog towers have been installed in Delhi. So these smog towers can purify something like 1,000 cubic meters of air per second. So Tata Power Projects has built these smog towers in technical support from IIT Mumbai and IIT Delhi. So it uses the simplest of technology, which is activated carbon and UV rays. Now, activated carbon in India is easy, can be created in abundance because we have a lot of coconut shells. So activated carbons can also be created from coconut shells. And this is expected, each of these smog towers are expected to improve the quality of air within a 1 kilometer radius. And Chennai too will be installing it shortly. So this twin-pronged approach to pollutions of vehicular pollution in cities is interesting. On one side, the government is encouraging through incentives or incentives and subsidy through FAME and waiver of registration fees for battery electric operated vehicles and hydrogen fuel cell operated vehicles, and then you are also seeing that the smog towers are being installed. So there is a little bit of environmental awareness that's coming up, because government also ends up spending a lot of money in case the whole population turns sick, because the rich will always be able to go to a bigger hospital and make their claim in health insurance companies, but it's the poor which gets overloaded in the public health system. So if the government doesn't take care of the pollution, they will end of the day will have to end up spending for the medicines and the doctors in the primary health center. The next very interesting development is Haryana is the first state to reduce its power tariff by 37 paise. Now, why this is monumental? In my personal opinion, this is monumental because we have always seen that the the electricity boards across India, which are always owned by the state government, have always increased the cost of electricity. Now, why have they done that? Because all the inefficiencies that get built into generation, transmission, and distribution is just simply passed on to the consumers, number one. Number two, because of political compulsions, free power was always extended to farmers, which is not wrong. But ideally, that money or the subsidy amount should have come from the state budget. Instead of that, that used to be passed on to predominantly the industrial users and commercial users. Now, Haryana has been able to reduce 37 paise because it has been able to achieve a substantial reduction in its power purchase cost. Now, it has been able to reduce its power purchase cost by 46 paise in 2020-21, and out of that 37 paise it has passed it on to the consumers. Now, this is the beginning of the trend where I personally feel henceforth the power cost cannot increase in India unless the electricity board is committing harakiri. Why are we saying that? Because predominantly we have been a country which were dependent on thermal power, and thermal powers, the power purchase agreements were at the cost of 4 rupees 40 paise to 4 rupees 20 paise, 4 rupees 20 paise to 4 rupees 40 paise. The cheaper options were nuclear power corporation, but ramp up and ramp down time was much longer. Gas was as costly as thermal power. But today, with the advent of wind power and solar power, the power purchase agreement rates that are available is at 2 rupees to 2 rupees 15 paise. And therefore, a lot of power being produced at this cost, meeting the incremental need of power during daytime, is the electricity boards are having substantial margin of not having to increase that cost. And therefore, I think as more and more rooftop installations of solar cells keep coming, there's a very bright possibility that the power cost will no more increase for the consumer. But viewers, please stay tuned. There's a lot more interesting and positive news waiting for you. Till then, stay healthy, stay safe, and thank you for tuning into our channel all these times. Good day to you.